Apophis is the closest thing we know about to an asteroid that could really give us a bad day.
It'll get close enough to Earth that it will dip below Earth's communication satellites. It'll be the biggest, closest thing ever to come near Earth.
Breaking news. NASA has just issued a warning about a massive asteroid, Apophis, that might actually hit Earth. This giant space rock is hurtling toward us, closer than the satellites orbiting above. Around the world, scientists are scrambling, racing to find a way to divert its path or destroy it before it's too late. But what if their efforts fall short? Tune in as we delve into just how close Apophis will come and what it could mean for life on Earth. Earth's date with a near-miss asteroid. Scientists have confirmed that while there is a possibility of a collision, the chance is small. The fact that Apophis is coming close to Earth is definitely a big deal, which has led to a global effort to deal with it. NASA, along with other space agencies from around the world, is working hard to improve their plans to handle this potential danger. The goal is simple: find a way to redirect or stop any asteroid that might hit Earth. As teams around the world race against time, the incoming data from the telescopes could change everything we know about our universe and our place within it. The asteroid in question is moving toward Earth quickly, and its upcoming flyby has many people on edge.
That it will dip below Earth's communication satellites. We cannot tell you exactly where that trajectory will be. We know it'll be closer than the orbiting satellite.
At its closest, it will pass by Earth at a distance closer than some of our satellites. This makes it a rare opportunity to observe such a large asteroid up close. For those watching the sky, it will be visible without needing a telescope, appearing as a fast-moving point of light in the night sky. NASA's monitoring systems are working overtime, keeping a close eye on its path. Using powerful telescopes and radar technology, scientists are tracking its every move. Each bit of information helps them update and improve their predictions of where it is heading. When it was first discovered, it caused a lot of worry among scientists. It was spotted on June 19, 2004, by astronomers Roy A. Tucker, David J. Tholen, and Fabrizio Bernardi. With a size roughly equal to 3.5 football fields, it is not small. If it ever hit Earth, the damage could be enormous. That's why its close approach on April 13, 2029, is a date that scientists are watching carefully. But the worry isn't just about avoiding a disaster. This close flyby also gives scientists a unique chance to learn more about asteroids. As it gets closer, it becomes a live experiment for studying large space rocks, teaching us more about their makeup, movement, and how gravity affects them. NASA is already preparing for its approach in 2029. They've launched several missions aimed at learning more about it and other asteroids in our solar system. The plan is to send spacecraft weeks or months before it gets near, gathering as much data as possible. This information will help scientists develop technology to deflect asteroids, ensuring that if a future threat comes, Earth is ready to defend itself. But here's the thing, it's not just about avoiding a catastrophe. There's another side to this story. It's a reminder that while space is full of wonder, it also brings challenges that require global teamwork and innovation. As it continues its journey around the sun, astronomers everywhere are staying alert, ready to respond to any potential danger. Through their constant watch, we not only aim for safety, but also continue to grow our knowledge of the universe. Scientists have confirmed that it will not hit Earth. The chance of an impact in the year 2029 has been completely ruled out. Instead, it will safely pass by Earth, giving researchers a unique opportunity to study it up close. This could really help us learn more about asteroids like it. Even though it won't hit Earth in 2029, astronomers are still keeping a close watch on it. They're especially interested in seeing if Earth's gravity will slightly change its path during this flyby. A change like that could affect how close the asteroid comes in the future. One important date to watch is April 13, 2036, when it will pass by Earth again. If its orbit shifts enough in 2029, the 2036 approach might be a real concern. Let's see how ready we are for an asteroid threat. NASA's last-minute asteroid alert. So the big question is, are we ready if an asteroid does threaten Earth? If we know early enough, we might be able to change its course. To see how prepared we are, NASA ran a test. They imagined a scenario where an asteroid, hidden behind the sun, wasn't noticed until it was headed for Earth. This fictional asteroid, big enough to cause serious damage, was predicted to hit Earth in 2038. The test assumed the asteroid was between 60 and 800 meters wide, with a 72% chance of hitting Earth. There were only 6 months to gather more details using telescopes, making the situation urgent. Despite having 14 years to prepare, the test showed that we still aren't ready to stop a disaster like this. Scientists couldn't gather enough information about the asteroid's size, what it was made of, or its exact path. But that wasn't the worst part. The test also pointed out several major issues with defending the planet from asteroids. One big problem is that we don't have the technology ready to deflect or destroy an asteroid quickly. Ideas like crashing something into the asteroid or using nuclear explosions would take many years to develop and test. On top of that, stopping an asteroid would need countries from all over the world to work together, making it even more complicated to handle. Working together is important because if an asteroid were to hit Earth, it would impact everyone across the globe. A recent practice session reminded us that planetary defense should be a top priority. Even though asteroid strikes don't happen often, they are a real danger that needs to be planned for well in advance to protect our planet. About 8 years ago, Earth had a close call with an asteroid about the size of a 6-story building. This was a clear reminder of the risk posed by space rocks that come dangerously close to our planet. It made people think back to the Chelyabinsk meteor from 2013, a smaller asteroid that exploded over Russia.
A meteor came crashing down to Earth today, triggered a fireball over Russia, and sent people running for cover.
That explosion was stronger than a nuclear bomb and injured around 1,400 people, mostly because of glass from shattered windows. Shock waves from the explosion were even detected as far away as Antarctica. This year alone, astronomers have been tracking over 40 asteroids that are passing closer to Earth than the Moon. Among these, 4 stood out. These near-Earth asteroids are each between the size of an airplane and a building, but thankfully none of them pose a threat. Still, scientists are keeping a close eye on them because it's important to know where they're headed and if they could be dangerous. But the scariest part? One asteroid, named 2024 JN16, came within half the distance of the satellites that orbit Earth, about 22,000 miles high. It got so close that you could see it through a telescope. This is why astronomers are always watching the skies, because we never know when a larger one might sneak up on us. To make sure we don't get caught off guard, scientists are constantly mapping the paths of these asteroids. One major project was NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, DART. This mission managed to change the orbit of an asteroid named Apophis, proving that, in the future, we might be able to push dangerous space rocks out of Earth's way. And there's more to come. In 2029, an asteroid called Apophis will pass by Earth so closely that it'll be a great chance for scientists to study it. They hope to learn more about how Earth's gravity might affect the asteroid's shape and path. This could help improve techniques for diverting any future asteroids that might be on a collision course with us. Now let's see how countries work together to protect Earth. Earth's race against asteroid Apophis. All of these efforts show just how important it is for countries to work together and keep track of these space rocks. Constant monitoring and preparation are key to protecting Earth from potential asteroid impacts. Since that close call, we've made progress in tracking potential threats. For example, a small asteroid recently passed over Germany. Thanks to the Scout Impact Hazard Assessment System, scientists accurately predicted and monitored its path. Known as 2024 BX1, the asteroid safely burned up in our atmosphere without causing any harm. This successful prediction showed that NASA's system is working well to help defend our planet. But this wasn't the end of the story. A recent international planetary defense simulation raised some new concerns. According to Lindley Johnson, a retired planetary defense officer from NASA, having detailed information about an asteroid's size and path is critical to avoiding panic and confusion. The exercise also highlighted that the world still has a lot of work to do to be fully prepared for these kinds of space threats.
We are working on technologies and techniques that could be used to deflect an asteroid in space.
Time is running out. NASA recently announced that a huge asteroid named Apophis and measuring about 350 meters wide is heading towards Earth. It's expected to arrive in 5 years. Scientists are working around the clock, trying to figure out how to stop this massive space rock. The big question is, what if it actually hits Earth? Will we be left helpless, watching as it causes unimaginable damage? Or do we have a plan to stop such a disaster? NASA's team is fully focused on this problem. They're working on a plan because Apophis has a 72% chance of hitting Earth. This isn't something they just found out. Apophis was first spotted on June 19, 2004, by astronomers Roy Tucker, David Tholen, and Fabrizio Bernardi. They discovered it at the Kitt Peak National Observatory and labeled it an S-type asteroid, meaning it's mostly made up of silicate rock, with some iron and nickel mixed in. But the materials in Apophis aren't what's worrying everyone. It's the fact that it could come dangerously close to Earth on April 13, 2029. The astronomers named it after the ancient Egyptian god Apophis, who represents disillusion, darkness, and chaos. A fitting name considering the potential destruction it might cause. If Apophis does hit Earth, the force would be equal to 900 megatons of TNT. To give you an idea, the most powerful nuclear bomb ever exploded, the Tsar bomb, had a force of only 50 megatons. The actual damage would depend on a few key things, like what the asteroid is made of, where it hits, and the angle it enters the atmosphere. If Apophis hits land, it could wipe out everything in a 155-mile radius. Beyond that, survival chances get a little better. But if it lands in the ocean, it could create massive tsunamis that reach over 100 meters high, threatening coastal cities. So the big worry is, could Apophis cause a disaster like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs? Could it lead to a modern-day mass extinction? Around 66 million years ago, a massive event changed the course of life on Earth. But don't worry, scientists say we're not in danger of a similar disaster anytime soon from an asteroid named Apophis. For Apophis to cause that kind of destruction, it would need an impact force 100 times stronger than what experts currently estimate. Back in December 2004, there was a small chance of Apophis hitting Earth, around 1 in 37, or 2.7%. However, more recent studies have ruled out any risk of a collision in 2029. Still, it's important to remember that Apophis will come near Earth multiple times in the future. Its orbit around the Sun takes **323** days, and it will approach Earth again in 2036 and 2068, coming within 19,200 miles, so close that we might even see it without a telescope. Next, let's focus on Apophis, an asteroid that's coming close to Earth. Tracking Apophis beyond the satellite belt. When the asteroid Apophis, also called Asteroid 99942 Apophis, passes by Earth, it will come just under the orbit of geostationary satellites. At first, astronomers were worried that these close flybys could change Apophis's path, possibly sending it on a collision course with Earth by the year 2036. However, more careful studies and calculations have shown that Apophis doesn't currently pose a threat to Earth. Apophis was discovered in 2004, and at that time there was some fear because there was a small chance it could hit Earth in 2029. This caused scientists to take a closer look. The asteroid is about 370 meters wide, and it caught a lot of attention because it almost reached a level 4 on the Torino scale, which measures how dangerous a possible impact is. After a lot of research using things like radar and more precise calculations, they found that the chance of Apophis hitting Earth in either 2029 or 2036 is extremely low. But that's not the worst part. There's still a lot to keep an eye on. Scientists are going to continue tracking Apophis as it moves around the Sun, and they are especially interested in its close approach on April 13, 2029. At that time, Apophis will come within about 20,000 miles of Earth, which is even closer than some of our satellites. This close flyby will be an amazing chance for scientists to study the asteroid. In some parts of the world, people might even be able to see it without a telescope. Researchers will be able to learn more about its shape, what it's made of, and even how Earth's gravity affects its structure. The information they gather from this event will be incredibly important for future planetary defense plans. Understanding how asteroids move is key to predicting their future paths and knowing if they could ever hit Earth. NASA and other space agencies have been using Apophis as a test case to improve their techniques for tracking asteroids. One such technique is called the bistatic radar experiment, where one telescope sends a signal to the asteroid and another receives the echo. This method has helped scientists get a better idea of Apophis's orbit to make sure we know if it ever poses a risk in the future. Still, the upcoming encounter will do more than just give us data. It will also slightly change Apophis's orbit, moving it from the Aten's group of asteroids, which stay closer to Earth, to the Apollo group, which has more extended orbits. This kind of change is not uncommon when asteroids pass by planets, and is an important detail for scientists who study long-term risks of asteroid impacts. But the story doesn't end there. By keeping track of Apophis and other asteroids like it, scientists are helping to protect our planet from future impacts. Each observation gives us a clearer picture of how these space rocks behave, helping us stay one step ahead in keeping Earth safe. Things got more complicated when researchers factored in something called the Yarkovsky effect. This effect can cause Apophis to drift off its predicted path because its surface heats unevenly, which can alter its course by about 170 meters each year. This drift could, in theory, push Apophis onto a collision course with Earth by 2068. Solar radiation is thought to be the reason for these changes in its trajectory. The Yarkovsky effect occurs because different parts of the asteroid warm up and cool down at different times, depending on how it's spinning. This creates a small push that can change its path over time. At first, this raised concerns about a potential impact in 2068. However, NASA later revised their findings, using newer data to confirm that Apophis does not pose a threat to Earth in 2068 either. Let's look at how close encounters with asteroids can teach us more about space. A century's chance to explore. While people usually focus on the potential danger of an asteroid impact, Apophis also gives scientists a rare chance to study these space objects up close. This could help deepen our understanding of the universe and how these celestial bodies move and behave. When a space rock gets close to Earth, astronomers see a great chance to learn more about these near-Earth asteroids. It's pretty rare for something this big to come so close. This kind of event only happens about once every 100 years. To make the most of it, a team from the University of Arizona has come up with 3 different plans to send small satellites into space to study this asteroid up close. The team, led by Paul Chodas, is working on a project called DART. The main goal is to learn more about asteroids, how they're put together, how they move through space, and how they interact with other objects in space. Most importantly, they want to find ways to stop asteroids from possibly crashing into Earth. The first idea is to send a small satellite to follow the asteroid, which they've named Apus, for 2 months as it approaches Earth and for a few weeks after it passes. This way, the team can take pictures and gather detailed data about any changes in the asteroid. But this isn't the hardest part. The second idea, called Ramses, involves sending a larger satellite with a smaller one attached. The smaller satellite would carry telescopes and sensors to study Apus in detail. However, this plan is tricky, and whether it's even possible is still being debated, kind of like trying to predict the future by reading the stars. The third idea is a bit simpler. It's to send just one small satellite to fly by Apus, taking pictures when it's closest to Earth. This option would cost less, but it might also give them less information. Each of these ideas has its own pros and cons, and the team has to carefully think about which one will give them the best results while also staying within their budget. But choosing the right plan isn't the toughest decision they'll face. The researchers have announced that they will share their final decision next year about the prediction that, thankfully, an asteroid won't hit Earth in this century. Still, recent news stories have caused a lot of worry. Headlines like one claiming a 72% chance of an asteroid strike in 2038, or predictions about a possible impact on July 12, 2038, are spreading online. How should we think about these alarming headlines? Is it time to panic? These scary stories actually come from a statement made by NASA, but they're really based on theoretical exercises that help experts plan for possible emergencies. For many years, NASA has been running asteroid preparedness drills. The most recent one was done by NASA's JPL Center for Near Object Studies. In this drill, they imagined a scenario where a huge asteroid, hundreds of meters wide, could hit Earth in 14 years with a 72% chance. The regions most at risk included North America, Southern Europe, or North Africa. To make things worse, the asteroid would stay close to the Sun for months, which would make it very difficult to spot. In this drill, 100 experts worked on how to communicate with the public and prepare for the worst. One key lesson was that we're not well prepared for an event like this. A big problem is that there's no clear plan on a global level for how to handle a possible asteroid impact. Although there is a group responsible for planning, there's no strong support for space missions or advisory plans. During the drill, participants were unsure what role this group was even supposed to play. On top of that, keeping up asteroid defense efforts for 14 years through changes in political leadership, budget cuts, and world events seemed almost impossible. But that wasn't the worst part. Despite these hurdles and the clear gaps, NASA still saw the drill as helpful. It made people more aware of the asteroid risk and showed how hard it is to create a strong global response. Among the suggestions from this exercise were improving communication about who's in charge, doing more drills, and preparing public message templates in case a real threat ever happens. NASA also plans to launch the Near-Earth Object Space Telescope by the summer of 2028. This telescope will help us better detect and understand the dangers from any threatening space objects heading our way. Are we as a global community prepared for a real asteroid threat? Or is there more work to be done? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more discussions.